How's it going, everybody? In this video, I have a really important update for you on the Duncan v. Bonta / Duncan v. Becerra California magazine ban case. The Ninth Circuit en banc panel just issued their ruling, and they ruled in favor of California's magazine ban, essentially finding in favor of the state of California. So let's talk about what happened and what this all means. But real quick before we jump into this video, if you think California's ban on so-called large capacity magazines is unconstitutional and violates our Second Amendment rights, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I also want to give a shout out to one of the main supporters of the channel, which is Safe Life Defense. Safe Life Defense has some of my favorite soft body armor out on the market. And if you're interested right now, they're still running their Cyber Monday sale. It's kind of been extended. And if you use the code ARMSCHOLAR, you can get 10% off your order. So check them out. I'll leave a link to them down in the details section. Also, I want to let you know that this content is powered by the Firearms Policy Coalition. So head on over to joinfpc.org to help support the Second Amendment cause. Thank you again, Firearms Policy Coalition, for supporting this channel. So like I said in the intro, we received some really important news this morning that the Ninth Circuit has issued their en banc decision in the Duncan v. Bonta, formerly known as the Duncan v. Becerra case, which deals with California's ban on large capacity magazines. This case is also known as the California Freedom Week case for those of you who purchased magazines during that Freedom Week period when the initial decision was made by the district court. Now, off the bat, the decision by the Ninth Circuit en banc panel was not in favor of our Second Amendment rights here in the state of California, and it was not in favor of our right to possess magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. In this video, I'm going to give a quick rundown on the decision and answer one of the important questions I'm sure a lot of you guys have about the impact of this en banc panel decision. Now, what is going on with this case for those of you who aren't aware? This is a case in California that involves the possession of so-called large capacity magazines. Under California Penal Code Section 32310, the state of California bans the buying, selling, possession, etc. of magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. And this applies primarily to just ordinary citizens in the state of California, but doesn't apply to individuals like law enforcement officers. This law was challenged in federal court, and the district court judge Roger T. Benitez, or Saint Benitez, issued a ruling that found the law was a violation of our Second Amendment rights. This led to what was called Freedom Week in California. During this week period of time, millions of magazines were purchased by lawful gun owners in the state of California. Now, one important aspect of Judge Benitez's ruling is that he also issued a stay of enforcement against those individuals who lawfully purchased those magazines during that period of time. So it became lawful for individuals to possess and use magazines that they purchased during Freedom Week. And essentially he did that because he knew the state of California would appeal his decision up to the Ninth Circuit, which they did. But during that appeal process, he wanted people to be protected and still be able to be in lawful possession of those magazines. Well, like he anticipated, the state of California didn't like his decision, and they did appeal the decision up to the Ninth Circuit. Initially, the decision went to a 3-judge panel in the Ninth Circuit, and on review, that 3-judge panel in the Ninth Circuit agreed with Judge Benitez and found that California's magazine ban was unconstitutional. Well, after that, and after the state of California lost again, of course, they didn't like that, so they sought an en banc panel review of the decision. And that went up to the en banc panel review, which is a review by 11 randomly selected judges. They reviewed this issue, they reviewed this case, and we were waiting for the decision, and now we have their decision. Now, the decision of the en banc panel is about 170 pages in total, plus some other documents. I'm working my way through it. I've made it through the majority of the decision, and I will likely be putting up a follow-up video that will break down all the main arguments more in detail, but I wanted to get this initial reaction and answer one of the more important questions I knew would be popping up. Now, one of the main takeaways of the decision by the en banc panel is that they believe the ban on the legal possession of magazines that hold more than 10 rounds is actually supported by California's efforts to reduce so-called mass shootings. Therefore, they upheld California's magazine ban as constitutional because they say the public interest that the state of California has put forward, i.e. stopping mass shootings, supports a ban like this in the state. So essentially, the en banc decision, the en banc ruling, just overrode the decision of the Ninth Circuit 3-judge panel and also Judge Benitez's ruling. In coming to its decision, the en banc panel rejected an analysis called text, history, and tradition, and instead they decided to continue using the two-step approach that the Ninth Circuit has used in the past. Currently, the Ninth Circuit uses what is known as the two-step approach when it reviews Second Amendment cases. In this type of analysis, the court first asks if the challenged law affects conduct that is protected by the Second Amendment. If it does, then they move towards the second step of the test to determine what level of scrutiny should apply to the law. The en banc panel agreed that magazines implicate the Second Amendment, which means that it met that first step of the analysis, and then they moved to the second step, to determine what level of scrutiny should be applied, and at this step, they decided to apply intermediate scrutiny. When a court like the Ninth Circuit uses intermediate scrutiny, that always leads to a state's gun control law being found constitutional, and that's exactly what they did here in this decision. Essentially, this whole decision reads as a battle between tiered-based scrutiny, that two-step approach that the Ninth Circuit likes to use, and a different type of analysis, which is text, history, and tradition, which pro-Second Amendment advocates like myself advocate for. We want text, history, and tradition to be the entire analysis, and that's what Heller also calls the analysis to be, but lower courts like the Ninth Circuit continue to refuse to use that analysis. The en banc panel majority decision here found that tiered-based scrutiny wins out, while they also had some dissenting opinions which advocated for text, history, and tradition. Now, I will get to the more nitty-gritty of the arguments in a later video. I will likely post a follow-up video going more in depth about the arguments that were made from both sides, but I wanted to simply let you guys know that the en banc panel has found that California's ban on large capacity magazines is indeed constitutional. Now, I'm sure many of you in California at this point are asking, what does this mean practically, especially for those of us who purchase magazines during Freedom Week? Well, if you remember Judge Benitez's decision, in it, he put a stay on the enforcement of the California Law 32310 against legal purchasers and possessors of Freedom Week magazines until the final determination of this appeal. So as of right now, you are still okay to be in possession of those magazines that you legally acquired during Freedom Week. However, I implore you guys to please stay tuned, and I will try to get information to you guys if anything ever changes, if the DOJ puts an update, if anything else ever happens in regards to your lawful possession of those magazines, I will definitely let you guys know. But what is likely to happen from here is that the pro-Second Amendment side, the Duncan side, will now seek Supreme Court review of this case. They will likely file a writ of certiorari to the Supreme Court. That would mean the final determination of this case has not yet been reached, and the Benitez stay will remain in place until the Supreme Court decides if they want to review this case or not. If they want to kick it down, remand it, they can do a lot of things, but essentially the final determination of the case has not met. And even when the final determination is met, it still has to get kicked back down to Judge Benitez, and where he would have to review the case again and issue an updated order based on what the Ninth Circuit said or the Supreme Court said. So this is not over yet. There are still some steps that need to happen. Also, I want you to keep in mind that there is another magazine ban case that is currently seeking review from the Supreme Court, and that is the New Jersey magazine ban case ANJ-RPC. The Supreme Court put that case on hold until it rules in the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin case. So I could see this Duncan case also get a writ of certiorari to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court putting it on hold until they rule in the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association case. Similar to what they did with the ANJ-RPC case, they could also combine the cases if they want. There's some things the Supreme Court could do, but essentially this has still got some little bit of wiggle room. It still has to go up to the Supreme Court and will likely go up to the Supreme Court, and then it's up to them if they want to review it or not. So not great news, especially for those of us in the state of California. I feel your pain because I'm also in California. A lot of us were anticipating not a favorable ruling, especially because the 11 judges were leaning more liberal. So we anticipated not a favorable ruling, and that's essentially what we got. But we all knew that this case would not be over after the en banc panel decision. It would go up to the Supreme Court, and that is likely what is going to happen. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. Also, if you like this video and like support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm or fuel Al Gore's rhythm. It adds fuel to his jet, and it signals to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos and in this type of two-way news. So thank you so much to everybody who's liked, commented, subscribed, just hit the notification bell. You guys are directly impacting this channel, directly impacting these videos, and helping this type of information and news get to more people who want to hear it. So thank you so much for all of your support. If you don't have a comment in mind, just comment down below that you're commenting to fuel the algorithm, and that really does help the channel. And also, if you're a new subscriber, go ahead and comment down below that you're a new subscriber, and I'll make sure I comment back to you. So as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and never forget to stay with Built Barn Scholars and stay maintain Barn Scholars.